This will be a Dragon Age Veilguard rant audio, kind of like that. Let's start. Hello everyone, been a while, quite a long while. I'm Gabriel and this is my gaming channel. Today's audio log is about Dragon Age Veilguard and the drama that will be this game. And a certain thing that I noticed reading and watching and listening about the game. First of all, let's make it clear, I was a big Dragon Age fan, and I am still to some degree. I do appreciate the complexity of the world that BioWare was able to create in the games, but ever since Inquisition, ever since Dragon Age 2, it was quite clear that this series has a identity crisis and doesn't really know what it wants to be, and each time it shows up it tries to be something different, and with Veilguard it looks like it's totally abandoned the roots of its predecessors, and certainly about Dragon Age Origins, which was the most significant entry into the series and most successful and up-to-date, considered by most of the people who played those games to be the masterpiece it was. But the thing that actually made me realize a few things is what BioWare developers decided to show pretty lately. A few days ago, or was it a week, something like that, we got an information that only 3 choices from Dragon Age Inquisition will be making their way into the consequence system, to the reactivity of the world system in the Veilguard, which actually from my point of view is something really worth talk about, because I believe the other things, like the fact that your character can have top surgery scars, or the fact that if you can choose pronouns for your character, I don't think that's really something that makes any sense. It clearly is what it is, and tons of people have told what they think about it. Others will be hyped about it, others will not. But the thing with the choices that I think is important is the fact that shows how BioWare is lowering their own standard of quality, the standard of quality that they made us associate them with. Let me give you a brief rundown. At the moment, I'm 37 years old. I was a teenager when the first BioWare title that made me look at the studio with awe had premiered. That was here in Poland, 1999, I believe. When Baldur's Gate hit was announced, it had a fabulous Polish localization to our native language. It was a stunning game, and at the moment it is good to tell about it, because last year Larian Studios took their own turn and showed us what they believe Baldur's Gate can look like with Baldur's Gate 3. I played that game, beated it, and I'm in the middle of my, rather I should say at the end of my second playthrough. Why I'm talking about Baldur's Gate and in context of Dragon Age Veilguard and the fact of choices in that game. Not many people know that actually Baldur's Gate series was the first attempt to have that little element into it, which is moving the choices from one game to another. Not many people will probably remember, but in Baldur's Gate 1 you had the opportunity to fight, or rather to meet, or if you wanted to and try, to kill a fabulous character, a character who is in the books for Forgotten Realms. His name is Deist the Urden, and he's a drow, a prominent figure, and has a series of books written about him. And the thing is, if you decided to kill him and loot his fighting gear in Baldur's Gate 1, which is 2 phenomenally good +3 sabers, or rather I should say scimitars, and a marvelous chainmail, then if you beat the game with that character and import that character into Baldur's Gate 2, you encounter Drizzt the Urden in a specific moment of the storyline there in Baldur's Gate 2. And if you used a character who was moved from the first game to the second, and in the first game you killed him, he will recognize that and he will attack you. And the thing is, he's not alone in Baldur's Gate 2. And it was the first time I realized that there is a choice and consequence situation happening between the first game and the second game. Obviously, Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Gate 2 were designed and created in a very much different environment and a different era of game design than, let's say, Mass Effect and Dragon Age. But the thing is, that was the beginning. That was when BioWare started to play with the concept that a experience that they provide in their games is responsive to the choices, across the titles. And the thing that bothers me the most with Veilguard and the fact what they did with Veilguard is the fact that with Mass Effect, with Dragon Age, Origins 2 and the Inquisition, they gave us a pretty solid understanding that this is something that they want in their games and they want the players to experience in their games. The fact that you decide who is the king or the queen of Ferelden in Origins was supposed to be reflected through the games, along with experiencing everything else these games have in offer. Now, obviously, that was the main thing in Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, and it is an important feature of Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2, and Dragon Age Inquisition. And the thing that they did now, and this is what actually pisses me off, is the fact that they went back on their promise that these types of consequences will be in their games. Which means, and we are people, we are beings that are easily getting used to luxury stuff. And let's be honest, the fact that your game, the game you import your character into, your save into, reflects on the choices that you made, let's say, months and years ago, is actually a luxury in gaming industry. But the thing is, BioWare, I will use a hard word, shits on their gamers when they say that they will not acknowledge that. With that, what they did with Veilguard. And this is something I understand also from the game developers' perspective. I've been in game development. I was a game tester. I was testing video games, so I had the taste of this, of development and how it works. And I do know that it always comes down to time and investment and money that you need to put into a game. So I believe that in BioWare they were in a situation where they decided, okay, we actually can't put the development time to have all these choices in the previous games reflected in the Veilguard, so let's cut it off. But the thing is, you should have, and that's directed obviously at BioWare, you should have told that to us at the very beginning of marketing this game, and not a month before the premiere. And second, it's a pretty big thing to do, to cut the ties like that. If you wanted a clean slate, then move 30 years into the future, 40 years into the future, not 9, because as far as I know, that's how much the time has passed since Inquisition ended and Veilguard is taking place. Now, one more thing I wanted to actually say concerning this game. First of all, I won't be buying it, I won't be playing it, because for me it's not what it's supposed to be. It's not a party-based RPG. If you don't control your companions, if what I saw is right, and they are virtually nothing, like just henchmen who walk around, don't have damage output, and need to be constantly reminded what to do or whatever. The other thing is in the combat, I really don't like the fact that you are aiming the bow. In RPGs like this, you don't aim with your controls as a player. This is handled by the systems. And then, if you remember, range weapons in Inquisition, in Dragon Age 2, and in Origins, you pointed and the character was shooting, and in the gameplay from Veilguard I see clearly that the player is aiming, which is totally not what this game should be about. This is action-oriented gameplay, not tactical-oriented gameplay, and I'm a tactical player. I always loved tactical aspects of these games, and ever since Dragon Age 2, these are being removed. So this is not the game for me, really. As much as I like the lore and the world, it's not enough to play this game. That's obvious. Now, the thing I wanted to actually address before I ventured into the combat area is the fact that in Veilguard, I don't think we are getting a nice story. And I'll tell you exactly why. If you think about antagonists in Dragon Age, who do you think is the best antagonist in this series? And I will tell you already that for me, that's Terran Loghain from Dragon Age Origins. Because he's a character who is well motivated, very well written, and with whom dealing over the course of the story of that game makes you want to actually experience the story. Every other antagonists, Meredith in Dragon Age 2, Corypheus in Inquisition, were basically just pawns, characters who were not really interesting in any meaningful way. Up till the fact, the Trespasser DLC and Inquisition. And I really liked Inquisition, I liked playing it, I liked its story to some degree, especially if you take it wholly, like, all of it. And the fact that this game gave us a really nice start for the 4th installment in the series. If you think about Inquisition, you will realize that the best part of that game is the build-up for Solus as the enemy. And ever since Dragon Age Dreadwolf was renamed to Veilguard, and ever since I saw the few trailers we've seen lately, I am quite certain Solus will not be the antagonist of this game. Oh no, he will not. We know that very well because of the very beginning and the first gameplay we saw Rook destroy that statue, and which is such a poor writing on the story side. We know that the antagonists of this game will be those two freed elven gods. What happens to Solus, we don't know. But the thing is, ever since I realized he will not be the main antagonist, these two people will be, these two deities, however you want to call this, they are his enemies as well, which means, my enemy, your enemy is my enemy, as long as the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's what I wanted to say. And that's not good. That's really not good, because these enemies will be blunt. They will have no real agenda, no real motivation, because there is no space for us to get to know them and to understand what they want to do and how they want to do it. And that's basically what really ruins, for me, this game, and ruins any kind of anticipation I had for the 4th installment in the Dragon Age series. And to be honest, making the last 5 minutes of this video count, I will tell you clearly what I think is gonna happen. I don't want this, because this is a grim future for BioWare, but I'm pretty sure this game will not be what is supposed to be. It's not the best game, it's not a good game, it will not be a financial success, and this is something BioWare truly needs. And because it will not be, it will end up being the last nail in the coffin of that studio. I'm pretty sure, if my predictions are right, this game will not sell well, this game will not be a financial hit, and because it is not, it will be a 3rd in a row for BioWare, current BioWare, and the magic will disappear when EA decides to slam the door and turn off the lights and a lot of people in Canada or whatever and wherever these development teams are at the moment will lose their jobs because this game will prove that this is not what was good, and this is not what Dragon Age was supposed to be. And Dragon Age was supposed to be what it was in Origins. Ever since the beginning of this series, since something like 2006, 2007, this was supposed to be a grim, dark, morally ambiguous RPG focused on the story with well-written and well-developed characters that create a party, and with that party you have the tactical party-based gameplay. This is what Dragon Age was supposed to be, was what Dragon Age Origin was, and if it was not for the freaking changes in the directions, with Dragon Age 2 being an action-focused game, personal story, Dragon Age Inquisition being this semi-open world run-around thing with those open spaces, which no one really at the moment feels was a good idea, and now, which I don't even know what Dragon Age Veiled God will be. I'm pretty sure it's not a party-based game because you don't control the party. It's not a tactical game because there's no evidence that this game ever had any kind of tactical camera or tactical element to it. It is quite possible that it will be a character-driven story, because that's what BioWare always wanted more of their games to be, which I think is not also a good idea. They should focus on the story, not the characters. The story makes the characters. Morrigan was a phenomenal character because when she was encountered with the fact to offer the ritual in Origins to the main character, that's what built her up as a character, as a personality that we loved. And then, she and with the Illuvians and hunt for her and the DLC and so on and so on. And this is not what I see when I look at all of this. I don't feel these characters, I don't see them interesting, I don't find them any kind of right or wrong, I don't know. But definitely the cast is not as good, and from what some other people said that I listened to over the past, let's say, 2 weeks or a little bit more, the writing that they encountered in the previous sections isn't the top quality that we expected, which means the fact that over the last 7, 8, almost 10 years, a lot of people left BioWare and a lot of good writers left BioWare, there is just no talent for that. And this is another element that shows me quite clearly that this game will not be as good when it comes to storytelling and when it comes to dialogue and interactions. And without that, I don't know if there is much else left here. I don't see this in bright lights. And with that, I'm going to leave you here. Thank you for listening. And yeah, let's try and find some other games and some other worthy IPs to pursue and invest our time and money into.